Hello everybody, welcome to Ep5 Studios. Thank you very much for all the new subscribers that have subscribed. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you very much. I will have a raffle in October for all the subscribers, so please stay tuned. Keep watching the videos, and I have a lot of yarn coming your way, and that is going to be the raffle that I'm going to do at the end of October. So please stay tuned. You will need to have for today's tutorial, we are continuing on, I believe it's video 6. I'm sorry for the delay, but I've been sick with a really bad sinus cold that I'm still fighting. So far, I have gone through 2 balls of yarn. I still have some left, so this is my little bit left that I start my arm sleeve. So I want you to remember that this sweater is a freestyle Raglan sweater. You are almost done with this. All you need is the final techniques to finish your sleeve and to finish your ribbing at the bottom of the sweater and at the bottom of your sleeves. This sleeve is a balloon sleeve, but it's not extremely big, okay? So I will leave you a picture of the first sweater that I did, that is the green sweater. I will leave you that picture right here on your right-hand corner, upper corner. So let's go ahead and start already. You're gonna need scissors, you're gonna need a crochet hook, your measuring tape, just in case, and obviously our yarn. One tip that I will like to let you know though, that when you start making any project, make sure that you buy enough yarn. I bought 4 balls of this yarn, and I have left, in the first video, I left you all the information. I'll go ahead and attach it again to this video, because when it comes to wool and dye yarns, if the yarn is not of the same lot, the color, even though it might be the same number, if it's not the same lot, the color might change a little bit, okay? That usually doesn't happen that much with acrylic yarn, but with natural fibers, it does happen. So just make sure that you have enough yarn for your project, because it's very frustrating when you don't have enough yarn, and that happened to me with the green sweater. Okay, so let me give you an update. My sweater, I had to start again all the way. I had to unravel, I had to frog my sweater all the way to here because I wanted to try a new design on the back. And if you remember, in my sweater, the back had a design. Well, the sweater was all the way down to here, and I did not like how the design turned out. So I undid all the work that I had done all the way to the top to here. I still have my marker here. And I had to start all over again, okay? But because I had my markers, I knew exactly where my raglan increases had to happen. So if you remember, this is how far I was last time. And now, last time, we separated for the sleeves. Remember, we show you how to separate for the sleeves and how to put them on this type of core, or I also show how to put them on spare piece of yarn. Okay, this is my back, this is my front. So today I will teach you how to start your ribbing. My sweater is not long enough yet. If you can see, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. If you can see, my sweater is about 4 or 5 inches from my sleeve, from the armpit down, okay? That's not long enough, but I will just show you how to start your ribbing. It's actually 6 inches, okay? But I want, because this is going to be a gift, it has to be longer than that before I start my ribbing, okay? But I will teach you how to do the ribbon today so you can move on your project and finish it. I start my sleeve. Remember, on this sweater, I believe we cast it on 13 or 14. If you go back on the video, if you'll remember, that's what we added when we separated the sleeves. Okay, right now, we are moving on to the sleeve. How to pick up stitches for your armpit for your sleeve. So you're gonna need to have some yarn, another ball of yarn to start your sleeve, okay? So I decided to do this type of pattern on my sweater just because I get really overheated at church. So I just did a little mesh, like a little lacy loops, eyelets, and I will show you how to do that on another video. Okay, we're gonna start picking up stitches. The key to picking up stitches is make sure that you pick them up with enough yarn under the stitch, and also make sure that you pick them up enough stitches on your corners so you don't get big holes. But even if you get a little hole here and there, don't worry about it. We can always do a little bit of work on that when we finish the sweater. So let's go ahead and start. Let me get my yarn, get me another bowl of yarn so we can start picking the stitches, okay? Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. I like to leave a little bit of yarn, a little bit of tail, because I want to make sure that if I have a little hole, I have yarn already attached to the sweater to work it through, work another, you know, a stitch on top of to fix the problem. Okay, all I do is I start from my corner. So see how this is the corner of where we ended up, and you just have to make sure that, so this one doesn't have a left piece of yarn, because I use it to work the rest of the sleeve. Okay, so we are going to pick up stitches as close as you can here. Leave a little bit of tail, and I help myself with the crochet hook. There's no need for you to be having a hard time when you pick up a stitch, okay? So all I do is make a loop, pass it through, and make another loop and make it very tight. That's just the first one so I can secure the yarn. Okay, so the yarn doesn't unravel on me. Okay, for those of you using Shagoo needles, you're gonna need I use a cable of size 22. That's just my preference, but if you want it smaller, you can use the 14-inch, okay? And I'm gonna use the same needle that I'm using on my body, which is a size 7, Shagoo size 7, okay? So once you have your loop, you just put your needle there and get rid of your crochet hook, make your stitch tight, and your working yarn is to the left. Your tail, just put it inside your sweater for now, okay? So it gets out of your way. Now we're gonna keep picking up loops and putting them on your needle, okay? See, we have a little hole there. That's quite fine because we have the little pattern that I have has holes, has eyelets. So no issue there. The next one is right there, it's right next to it. And I like to grab the little nut that that previous stitch has. So I have here 3. I have to come up with 14. Why 14? Because when I picked up stitches for my other sleeve on the other side, I came up with 14 stitches plus 3 because I did this corner wrong, so I came back and redid it. So I ended up with 17 stitches for picking up stitches under your armpit, okay? This process is usually very, very easy to do. All you have to make sure is that you don't leave big gaps in between the stitches when you pick them up. It's okay if you pick up more stitches than you need to, because in the next round, you can decrease them. So see how it's looking? Here, I think I have too much space. So I'm gonna undo it and do it again. So I'm gonna go into that little knot that I see there. Put it on the needle. Keep grabbing a little hair from, okay. And I'm not counting. That's okay. I'll count at the end. We're coming to the corner on this side. Let's see how many stitches we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Perfect. We need 3 here. 14, and this might be tricky because look how loose it is. That's fine. We're gonna go through it like this first. And if it's too loose, then we'll go like this. So that's 15. 16. And the last one, 17. See if we do it there. Now it's going to be too loose. We'll do it here. Okay, 17 stitches. Perfect. Now what you're going to do, if you have this type of string, just make sure that you pull it very close to the other side, to the end of the other side, to your needle, and you're going to pass all these stitches onto your needle. So you press it down so it can go inside there pretty well. You pull, just slightly pull, not hard, and start passing all the stitches onto your needle. If you have just waste yarn on your sleeve, all you have to do is pass your stitches with a tapestry needle onto your back onto your your needle. So that just takes a little bit longer, but it's perfectly okay. Okay, now all you do is push it out, there. Put it aside. Now you have, okay, now you are going to work past the needle all the way to where you ended up with your yarn, okay? That's where you're going to start your round. And then you're going to put a marker there, okay? And you can't miss it because your yarn starts right there. And if you can see, I have lots of needles on this sweater. Okay, where is the yarn? See, it's right here. So I got 2 more stitches to pass on through the needle. Okay, and this is how it looks. This is one corner. These are the pickup stitches under yarn sleeve, and you see there's a little bit of gap there. Don't worry about it. When we come back to knit these stitches, we're going to assess if this hole is too big. We're going to add 1 more stitch right there, okay? So let's go ahead and knit this first round. So remember, you need a marker to make sure that that's the beginning of your round. And I always, this is just a pet peeve of mine, I always like to put 2 markers on this to the beginning of round. That's already embedded in my head, that when I see it, I know this is the beginning of the round. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Go ahead and knit all the way until you get to this side of our sleeve, okay? I will meet you there. Go ahead and start. It might be a little awkward. It feels kind of awkward, this shape, but once you do a couple rows, you will be fine. Okay, so I will meet you on the other side. Okay, we're at the bottom of our sleeve again. I'm sorry, at the armpit. And if you can see, there's a big gap right here. Not a problem. This is actually excellent to show you that you can just pick up more stitches to seal the gap. Okay, let's finish knitting our first. And here, all we're gonna do, look at your work, look how much space you have. Just go onto that, pick up 1 stitch. Yes, you say, oh, there's still a hole, which is perfectly fine. Then we're going to pick up another stitch right here, and we're going to incorporate a little thread from the other side. So we're gonna go like that. And yes, we have, you know, 2 little open holes, but it's not gonna be bad once you block and steam your project. And if that still bother you, what I do is, once I'm done with my garment, I go back and do a QA session, and I assess all the things in the sweater until I'm happy with it. And then I just put a little stitch with a tapestry needle, and done. Okay, so now if you think you cast that you picked up too many stitches here, all you're going to do is to decrease after this round, in the next round. Okay, so let's go ahead and knit these stitches that we picked up. Now you know how to pick up stitches under your armpit for any sweater, be it raglan or be it yoke style, any sweater that requires for you to pick up stitches. Okay, we're almost at the beginning of the row. If the stitches are sitting wrong, you still have to knit them correctly. Like, see how this one is sitting wrong? For me, instead of positioning it, just to save time, I just knit them correctly instead of reposition them. Okay? Pass your marker and go ahead and start this round and knit all the way until your armpit, and wait for me there, and I will teach you how to SSK. Okay? That means slip, slip, knit. Okay, I will teach you how to do that. Okay, I'm exactly at the corner where we picked up 2 more stitches to seal that hole. So if you notice, the hole is not bad at all. Okay, because we picked up 2 extra stitches, we already had 17 here. Our first stitches that we picked up from this to this corner. Because we picked up 2 more stitches here, we have to decrease, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit until the center, and I'm going to do my decrease in the center of your armpit. So you can count or you can just eyeball it like I do. But if you're very precise, go ahead and count. Okay. I believe I am at the center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to perform what is called SSK. Slip, slip, stitch, slip, slip, knit. And all you do is this stitch, we're going to slip it like if we're going to knit it. So we can pass it to the right hand needle. And we're gonna grab the other one like if we're going to purl it. See? So now they're like touching each other on this side, but not on the back side. And all you do is go ahead and knit them together. Once you have them, you can knit them together. And that's what a that's what an SSK does. And there we go. What it does basically positions the stitch, the first stitch, on top of the other one. That's what SSK does. Okay, and then you just continue knitting to finish your round. Now, we should have exactly the same count of stitches under your armpit as your other side, as your other sleeve. So this worked out well, so we could teach you how to do different things, how to solve problems when you're creating, designing a garment. Remember, this is a freestyle garment. There's no pattern for it. This is just a Raglan technique teaching and learning. So that's what we're doing. Okay, trying to see if I can show you my other. See how the armpit will look? Look, it looks beautiful. Here's my corner. And here's my other corner. This one looks a little bit more. And that's okay until I finish. I think I'm going to stitch one right there. That's when I finish. And this is the back of my garment. And this is the one that we just started together. So now you know how to start your sleeves. Now we have everything on cables. So what does that mean? It just means that you have put your sleeve stitches on cables to be ready to start knitting. So now we have both sleeves on cables. So now what I'm going to teach you is how to decrease for your body. This sweater is more of a boxy style sweater. It's because it's loose, because it has a lot of fabric on the body, is going to be a little bit more square. If you want to taper it closer to your body, you're going to have to do a lot of decreases right at your armpit area going down. Okay, so I will start the ribbing to show you how to do the ribbing, but on mine I am not going to do decreases because I want you to see how it looks without decreases, and because this is a loose, very loose, it has a lot of positive ease. So it's not gonna be a taper down to your body sweater, okay? So let's go ahead. If you already have stitches on your needles to finish, go ahead and finish them. If you can see, do I have a marker here? I do not. So I'm not at the end of my round. So let me go ahead and finish my round, and I will meet you there, and we will teach you how to start your ribbing and how to do decreases for your body. Okay, I need to start a new ball of yarn because I have 2 balls in between the sleeves. So third ball of yarn is right here. There's many ways of joining your yarn. I do not sweat it. So here's the piece that I have left, and it's not going to be enough. So all I do is I knot it, but I leave a lot of yarn, because the truth is that this yarn is 100% superwash wool. I bought it for that reason, because you can wash it and dry it, because this is a gift. People do not know how to take care of their garments. So you want to make sure that you do it as easy as possible to them, to teach them how to do it. Because you're going to wash it and dry it. Do not just join the yarn without knotting it, because it will unravel. And there's no way, when you're giving a garment as a gift, there's no way that they're going to bring it back to you to fix it, and you don't want that. So I do knot it for these purposes. I leave enough yarn so I can weave it in to secure it. All I do is I knot the two together. This is the way that it works for me. There's many ways of joining the yarn. You can split it, and you can join it together this way. And you can do with the process of doing this, you can join them together. I don't do that with this yarn because I'm going to wash it. I want to make sure that it's knotted, and that even when I wash it, it's not going to unravel. Okay, I'm now going to continue to finish this round, and then I will meet you again to teach you how to start your ribbing. Okay, I already come to my end of the round. I finished my stitch past my marker because I have a lacy stitch going here right under my armpit. I do not want to make any decreases there. So I'm going to knit all these stitches until I get to the end of my lacy pattern, my lace pattern here, and I'm going to show you how to decrease. You can do SSK, or you can just knit 2 stitches together. It's up to you what you want to do. Just make sure that it looks nice and neat. You don't want to, okay, since you're not gonna have this pattern here, you can decrease right here. This is where you want to do your decreases to taper your sweater a little bit more if you don't want it so boxy. This is not gonna be extremely boxy, but it does have about 3 inches, 4 inches of positive ease. So to me, it's not gonna look, it doesn't look the greatest if you taper it in too much. Okay. All you're going to do, if you decide, okay, your increases gotta be gradually. So we are just, for me, only 6 inches below your armpit. about 5.5, no, it is 6 inches. Because mine is going to be about 3 inches more longer is okay to start decreasing here. But if your sweater is shorter, more crop, you might want to start decreasing at about here. Okay, and you have to do it gradually, every 2 or 3 rows, so it doesn't look bad and it doesn't lose the shape. Because by decreasing, you are shaping your garment and you're giving it another form. And if you don't do it right, you're gonna make the sweater look funky. So we don't want that. Whatever you do on one side, you do exactly the same thing on the other side, okay? You must remember that. And if you don't remember it, just use markers. Have your markers ready and please use them. If not, your shaping will not look correctly. Okay. We can do a simple decrease, which is knit 2 together. So you can either grab them from left to right, and then you do knit 2 together. Or you can also perform again SSK. And how do you do SSK? You pass the first stitch, like if you're gonna knit it, pass it through this to this needle, and you grab the next one to slip it, like if you're going to purl it, there. And then you knit them together through the back. In there. That's SSK. And then you're going to knit until you get to your other side of your body. And then right under your armpit, you're going to perform another SSK or whatever form of decrease that you want to do. So I will knit all the way to the other side and I will show you again. So what you're going to be doing, you're going to be tapering in your sweater if you decide to decrease, okay? So now that you already know how to perform your SSK, your decrease, to shape your garment, I'm going to put my stitches back in my needle correctly. And I'm going to teach you how to do the 1x1 ribbing. Because it's a 1x1, you don't have to have a perfect count to give you the 1x1 ribbing. Whatever count of stitches you have, that's what you're going to do. So since I'm not decreasing for mine, all you're going to do, a 1x1 only means that you are knitting, you knit 1 and you purl 1. That's why it's called 1x1, because it will give you a look of 1 purl and 1 knit. So let me show it to you. Okay, here is my sweater. And here's the beautiful ribbing. Look how beautiful it came out. This, did I steam this already? I think I did. Yes, I did. I still have some yarn to hide. Look how beautiful the back of it came out. Look at the purl side. It looks beautiful to me. And look at the design that I did. I believe this is called either rice stitch or seed stitch. Look how beautiful it looks. And this is a 1x1. Right now I'm making a sweater for my nephew with color work, and I did this in a 2x2. I still think that a 1x1 looks better. Okay, let's go back to our rib. Look how beautiful. It looks like this because it's twisted. So this part that you see is the purl part, the one inside. And this one right here is the knit side. So this is called a 1x1 rib. but this is twisted rib. You're not gonna see this really nice line up like that until you have about 5 or 6 rows. So I will show you how to do, and you do the same with your ribbing on your arm. This called for like about 1.5 inches, but I did it wider and it came out pretty good. I like the way it looks on my arm. Okay, so going back to the sleeve, this is what your sleeve is going to look like. This is your raglan, the 4 stitches, I'm sorry, 8 stitches that you have, and they're going to merge onto the body of your sweater, and it's going to be part of your sweater. Then we just picked up stitches on the bottom of your armpit, and this is what your sweater will look like. Look how beautiful it looks. Doesn't that look beautiful? Beautiful work. You're going to love when you finish your sweater. And the sleeve is a balloon sleeve, but it does not look extremely big. You can also, again, taper it down more by doing decreases along under the armpit. But this is more complicated for the sleeve, so I will not suggest you, unless you're a more advanced knitter, to do it by yourself, okay? That will be another class. But look how it looks. And I did a 3/4 of sleeve. This is not all the way down. This is not here. This comes down to about here. One of the other persons that I know that did the same sweater that I did, she made it all the way to here, and it didn't look right. So you have to do it either here, 3/4 of a sleeve, or a full sleeve, okay? This is what it's supposed to look like, and this is what your ribbon is supposed to look like, okay? So you're gonna be very happy with the work, and this is very simple, very easy. Remember, knitting is therapy. Knitting is happiness. Like crochet. Crochet makes me extremely happy, makes me be very creative with what I do. So this is not supposed to give you stress whatsoever, okay? So let's go ahead and start the ribbing. Okay, I changed 2 needles to size 5, which is a 4.5 millimeter. And I chose the really short ones. These are barely 2 inches. The reason why I chose these ones is because I can't find this length. They're gotta be here somewhere. But also because as your ribbing gets, the diameter gets smaller and smaller, you have less space, and the bigger your needles, the harder it is to work the circumference of your ribbing. So the shorter the needle, it helps you to work your very small spaces easier. Okay, we change our needles, and now we're gonna do we're gonna do first 1 row with decreases, okay? And I'm running out of yarn, so unfortunately we're gonna have to add yarn in the ribbing area, and that's really not the best, but it is what it is, and we're going to just do it. So I'm going to decrease. I'm just going to do a regular decrease 2 together, and I do it through the back, and I'm going to do maybe every 10 stitches. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. sorry about that, 10. So I'm going to decrease again, and I hold the stitches with my nail. So another decrease, so that's 2 decreases. So go ahead and do this in every 10 stitches just to make the circumference of our sleeve smaller. 4, come on, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I do another decrease. We're gonna do 11, so I'm not on top of the eyelid again. Okay, and then another decrease. See, all I'm doing is knit 2 together. Okay, so go ahead and do that all the way until the beginning of the row, and I will see you there. Okay, we have decrease every 10 stitches, and if you can see, the circumference of your sleeve is still pretty wide. So your arm is going to be here, and see, your arm is going to be like this. You still have a lot of fabric on each side of your arm, which means that when you try it on, it's going to be very loose. If you want to leave it this way, it's up to you. You can. But if you want to really learn how to do the twisted rib, I suggest that you go ahead and follow the video. Okay, we're going to do 1 row of knitting without decreasing, and then the next row you're going to decrease again every 8 stitches. So go ahead and do that. We're going to do this row. We just finished the row of decreasing. Now we're going to do a regular row of just knit. Okay, and try to have the same tension, not loose and not too tight. Okay, remember we already decreased 2 sizes of the needle, so they will help us with the ribbing. Okay, so finish this round, and I'll meet you in the next one so we can finish our twisted rib. Okay, let me correct the needle size. I went down 2 sizes to a size 5 from a size 7. Okay, I think I said it wrong earlier. Okay, now on this row, we're going to decrease every, let's say every 8 stitches. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do 1 decrease. And this will be our last decrease if we like our measurement. Okay, remember that you're doing this according to the measurements for your arms, for your wrists. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another decrease. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another decrease. And go ahead and finish the row decreasing this way. And then we'll start that 1 by 1 ribbon. Okay, so go ahead and finish the row decreasing every 8 stitches, and I will see you at the end of the row. Okay, we have decreased on this row, and look, there's still a lot of fabric for my skinny arms. So I'm going to decrease 1 more round on the next round every 5 stitches, and then I'm going to start the twisted rib. Okay, so do 1 more round according to your size. Please make sure you measure it, how tight you want it around your wrist. And then, so this is going to sit about here. And then you're gonna start your twisted rib of about 1.5 inches, depending on how you want it. Okay, if you want it thicker, I think I'm just going to do 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm gonna do this one row, decreasing every 5 stitches. Okay, after decreasing 3 rounds, I like the size of the opening, because once we do the twisted rib, it's going to cinch even smaller. So let's go ahead and start. And I'm out of yarn, so if you, I'm sorry, that's gonna take me a little bit of time to get more yarn going, but I will show you how to start your twisted rib. So we're going to do one by one. So the first row, you're just going to do knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, knit, and then purl. Okay, you're gonna continue doing this all around the sleeve. And I need space, so I have to pull the cable out so I can have a traveling loop going. Okay, always look at the stitch before. So that's a purl. Then you know that you have to knit the next one. Then you purl. Then you knit, purl, knit, purl. So go ahead and do that all the way until you get here. And we will meet here to complete the setup row of the twisted rib. And meanwhile, I'm going to get more yarn. Okay, my friends, I went ahead and knitted 2 rows of twisted rib so you can see, because you don't see the twist in the first 1 or 2 row. But look, I don't know if you can see it, but see how it's showing more. So the twisted rib is very simple. Let me get my traveling loop going. All you do is grab your knit stitch through the back loop. That's all it is. So I'm starting the 3rd row. So this is my knit stitch, and I grab it from the back and I knit it. My purl stays the same. My knit, grab from the back and knit it. Purl stays the same. Knit, grab from the back, knit it. Purl stays the same. See? I hope you really can see it. I hope the light is good. So you grab it from the back, you knit it. That's what a twisted rib is. And what it does is that creates a very tight ribbing, but it makes it it shows very well in between, in the purl and in the knit. It has a very good definition. See? And then when you open it, look how beautiful it looks. That's what it does. So it looks normal, like a 1 by 1, but once you stretch it, it looks very pretty. So if you continue doing the twisted rib as long as you want it, in my case, I think I'm only going to do about 1 inch, 1.5 inches, because since I did the eyelets right here, that added to the length Oh, look. Oh my gosh, look, I lost a stitch. I'm like, why is this so loose? Not a problem. Don't be afraid when you lose stitches. Look, I lost this one and it unraveled twice. You see these 2 bars? This is a perfect sample to learn how to fix mistakes. 2 bars, so that means that I have gone twice to purl this stitch, and it's a purl stitch. So you always want to have a crochet hook with you. And what you want to do is you just want to pass one string, then you do the other one. Bring the string to the front so it's easy for you to do it. I'm gonna grab more space. See, here's my loop. And don't be afraid to stretch it a little bit so it can make your life easier to purl it again. My needles are getting on the way. It's my purl stitch, and I need to have the yarn in the front in order to fix it. And hopefully I don't grab yarn from the stitch below. That's the only problem that usually happens. See, there, and I did grab yarn from the. You want to stretch it to make sure that you have enough working, and then pass the other line of yarn to the front, and then see, that's it. There's the purl. We fixed the purl stitch because it got undone. We put it back in the needle and we keep knitting. Because we're knitting in a very close space, the circumference of the sleeve is very tight, these things can happen. See, this is a knit stitch. We're gonna knit it through the back loop. We knit through the back loop, and don't be afraid to give it a little stretch to the stitch. See, I stretch it a little bit. Make sure that the yarn doesn't split on me. And I continue this way until I have the length of the rib that I want to have. So look how tight it's looking. It's going to be see? It's going to have plenty of space, but also it's going to have, it's going to cinch up a little bit more. The more you do, the more tighter it's going to get, okay? So you're going to end up, you're going to follow exactly the same process to do your ribbing at the bottom of your sweater, okay? This is the bottom of the sweater. You're going to do exactly the same process. You're going to decrease probably about ½ an inch before you start your ribbing. You're going to want to start decreasing. So make sure you put on your sweater, you see how long you want it to your belly button or longer, and then you start the rows to do the decrease, and then you start your ribbing. If you want it really boxy, don't decrease, just start your ribbing. Okay, thank you for watching. I will see you soon. Okay, so that's how you're going to do your ribbing. You're already set for your sleeves, and now this is the video for today. I will leave some details on the comments. I will see you next weekend. Hopefully mine will be done, because this will be the 4th or 5th week that we have been doing this sweater. And I cannot wait for you to finish your sweater. It will be done before Christmas, and you already have the skills to make many more sweaters, to do many for Christmas, or for some Valentine's Day, or for next year. I mean, the sky is the limit. Our next section will be And our next project will be a crochet project. So please stay tuned. There will be gifts because I want you to have some gifts before Christmas so you can have more projects on your needles. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bendiciones. See you soon. Be happy knitting and please create and share forever. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about binding off. There's several methods of binding off. I'm just going to show you the basic one. When you're done with your ribbing, you're going to have a knit and a purl, knit and purl, knit and purl. So you're going to do exactly what that stitch is. Since this one is my knit, I'm going to knit it. And then I'm going to pass it through the first stitch that I knitted. You want to do this in a relaxed mode. You don't want to do it extremely loose or extremely tight because this is the edge of your bind off, of your sweater ribbing. Then you just pass it through. Okay, again, going to knit or purl. And then you're going to pass the first one through the bottom one. Knit and pass it through. And that generates this edge. You see that? This little edge, just by doing that. So you're basically generating this edging when you finish your ribbing. And that's all that you have to do for bind off. This is the simple bind off. There's the Italian bind off. There's the German bind off. There's many of them. So we will see those type of bind offs in different garments, in different projects that we do. So with this video, you have completed your sweater, and I will show you mine hopefully next Sunday. And have a blessing weekend and see you soon. Take care. Ciao, ciao.